WKNOV and W293CX 106.5 FM, Courier Communications, Milwaukee, but are the sole comments of the host and guest of this particular show.
Hey. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here we go. It's my time to rise. It's my time to shine. It's my time to live. It's my time to fly. It's my time. It's my time. I can see it. I can feel it. Time has come now to reveal it. I've been waiting for a long time. Gotta do it. And won't let nothing hold me down. Do it. Cause I may not get another chance.
Hey, not Upendo, Milwaukee. We are live. You are listening to Nyumba Upendo on 860 AM, 106.5 FM, and I'm your host, Dr.Alisia Moutry. And my co-host, he's here. He's here in a different way, not feeling the best, but guess what? He's still committed. Who was on the line with me, Dr.Kweku? What's going on?
You know how we do. You know how we do. But I'm going to let you do it from the beginning because we can't start the show before we do the OP&Ps.
Guess what? But before we even do that, guess what? I couldn't do this show without Jermaine Ride Out over there and Debo. I want to start off with just a little bit of love. Ride out.
Well, listen, it's a pleasure to be here. Great seeing you as always. And Quay, what's going on with you, bruh?
No, hey, you know how you wake up and you're not feeling quite the best, and then you say, hey, I don't want to bring no germs. I hate when people be bringing germs into the office. I wanted to make sure that I was good and I was ready to go for tomorrow. So I said, I'm going to just be on the safe side, make sure I'm doctored up, and do it from here. I got to co-host this with the mostest, so I know she can run the show. So I'm from here.
And guess what? We appreciate you doing that as well.
Yeah,
what about that?
Because if you was here, I got a whole bottle for you, brother. We was gonna spray you down.
Right. We had to.
Hey, I feel good. I just didn't know. So what I'm saying, it's better to be safe than sorry. So that's how we do it.
Well, as if you were here, I know you would say this. We cannot start the show without our P&Ps.
Come on.
That's the prayers and the permission. We've known to be able to make sure we have permission from the ancestors to be able to speak. So we've done that. And then in addition to that, prayers, we've got prayers from my mama. She sends us prayers every single time we get on the show. I'm talking about every single time we get on the show. And if it's not verbally, she's sending us a text about a prayer. And today it was interesting. She specifically prayed for you, Jermaine, and you, Debo. She said, pray for your engineers that everything goes right the way they expect it to go. That was new for her.
I received that.
Yeah, you receive it. That was her prayer. But then the other prayers was she thanked the Lord for the rain. Sometimes we say, oh, it's raining outside. But she talked about the beauty of the rain because she's just planted some flowers. So that's important right there. And that grass to grow. So Mama, thank you for the P&Ps. And then we also typically will dedicate the show. And so I'm dedicating the show today. It's something a little different than we would normally do, Kweku. I'm celebrating the show today to celebrity chef Anne Burrell. She is the Food Network host. She was a celebrity chef. And I'm doing it to her because I typically watch Food Network all the time. I'm cooking. My love language is cooking, period, right? She yesterday, 6/17, she died at the age of 55. Yeah. Yesterday, she was actually found in her apartment home in Brooklyn, New York. And I just to talk a little bit, if you don't watch the Food Network, I just want to let you know she was an instructor at the Institute of Culinary Education. She made many appearances on Chopped. She also was the host on Secrets of Restaurant Chefs. And then a lot of you may have heard the show called The Worst Cooks in America. She was a co-host for that as well. But with her, the last thing I'll say about her, that what I loved about her, a lot of people don't know she started as a sous chef. Everybody want to start on the top, right? But she started off as the sous chef for somebody else. I mean, she just chopping up vegetables, helping other people prepare and to do the mastery. But within that time, that's when the work is really happening. She was being groomed. She is growing. So I just want to give a quick shout out to her. And her passing really can just make you think about and remind you about the uncertain times in life. And the uncertain times and the impact that it has on other people. So with that said, I just want to make sure that you know that that's why it's very important to Dr. Kweku and I that we bring Nyumba Upendo to the community, because we are bringing wellness, healness, all those things to the community so that we can begin to heal and support our community. Kweku, I'm not going to steal your thunder. But we've got two guests. I want to jump right into our guests. We got two guests in the house, and I told them, and I'm gonna let you introduce them. But I told them I not only saw them in action, but I felt them in action. There's a difference. I can see you, but can I feel the work and the passion that you're doing? And that's exactly what it is. Kweku, you invited me to my nephew's performance, and then I'm gonna pass it over to you to introduce our guests.
Well, yeah, I think you already set it up when you were talking about the sous chef, because when I see these two people, I ain't introducing them because they done been on the show before. They family. They don't need no introduction to Milwaukee. What True School does is absolutely revolutionary, but it fits into that sous chef, because what they do is they teach the younger generation what you can be, what you can become. Yes. And when I look at them, they develop people at all ages, and you take them from, it's almost like watching somebody go from kindergarten to the 12th grade, but then go off and graduate from college and come back, because the alumni base that they have. And it was amazing because I worked with Sister Ali before. We did some panels together and everything, but I met Fidel before I met him because he was on Growing Up Milwaukee. And so I had a little small part in that, and Muhib and Kwa was in that. And so I'm watching it, but I see them bringing this young lady who's one of the features in this film come, and she's got this crazy talent for rap. And when I see them bring her in and love on her and encourage her and say, you got a gift, you could do something with this, and right away understanding some of the other circumstances that come around it, or wrap their arms around her and say, hey, we're going to take you where your gift is at and let it go. That's the reason why I love them, and the reason why I entrust even one of my children under their tutelage. Because, and I don't want to steal their thunder, I'm about to kick it over to y'all, but what I love is they allow the children to be able to do their best gifts. And we're talking about artistic, some of the things that's been taken out of the schools where we talk about is so necessary and needed. And when they do these showcases that we talk about and we highlight on the show, they'll do them, on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, they'll have the people work. But on these Monday sessions, they'll have them sit down in the old school hip hop culture of breaking things down. And we're going to talk about what else is going on in the world, but allow the young people to speak in their voice, have speakers come in, but allow them to talk about things that's relevant to them, but how they can make a difference in the world. But we got them on specifically today, and we're going to talk about a few things, but I want you to talk about what you're doing tomorrow as we talk about Juneteenth, celebrating the ancestors, all that was done for us, but this art system that you got tomorrow that's going to be going on MLK and on Ring Street. Talk to the people a little bit about that right away.
And tell them who you are, if you don't mind, just in case.
Go ahead.
You want me to start?
Yeah.
My name is Ali. I'm co-executive director of True School.
Fidel Verdine, what's up, Milwaukee and the world? Peace.
So tomorrow, Milwaukee is having the 54th annual Juneteenth celebration. And this will be our 4th year, adding our contribution to this long-running celebration where we have started the Arts and Culture Zone. And in the Arts and Culture Zone, it's kind of like taking a piece of True School and plopping it into the event. And we have a 6-artist mural competition that happens live throughout the day. There was a process where artists were able to submit applications, submit samples of work. But what we were really looking for were artists who were passionate about translating what Juneteenth means to them. And then, of course, yeah. So it's like, we know art is a means of communication. And so the artists become the griots, the storytellers, the keepers of history through their creation. So we were looking for artists that, it's a big deal to paint outdoors 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. regardless of the weather elements, and then be really passionate about what that story is in the art. So the theme of this year, love, life, and freedom, is what the artists were basically speaking on. Like, how do you integrate that theme into what Juneteenth means to you? So we're just really excited to see what these artists are coming up with, because they've been cooking. And we can just tell by the energy that they're ready to get down in this competition.
I love it. Anything you want to add?
Well, everyone's invited to come and witness this Arts and Culture Zone. As was said, it will be near the corner of King Drive and Ring. You'll see big art walls out. You'll see a True School tent. You'll hear drums. We'll have a drum circle out there. A lot of different activities for youth and families to participate, including our community interactive walls. And that's become one of the most popular things that people are looking forward to, and young people are looking forward to, painting in public and doing some public art alongside professional artists,
Mhm.
alongside some of the true school artists. So come out and connect with us, engage with our organization, the young people we work with, find out more about our after school sessions and everything we got going on during the summer. Because the Arts and Culture Zone is a chance for all kind of creators to congregate and build.
Yeah, I want to go back into that competition component. I just real quick, how many people are actually in the competition, and are there prizes at all?
Oh yeah.
Oh, they said, oh yeah. Did you hear that? Y'all did that in unison.
Oh yeah.
So there are 6 competing artists. Top prize is $1,500. Second place is $1,200, and third place is $800. It's really gratitude to the artists and making sure that we are demonstrating publicly the value of the artist's contribution to a community. And so those are the top prizes. And then, like Fidel said, you can observe the competition throughout the day. We'll have a QR code up so that anybody who's there, all the attendees, can weigh in on who they think the winner should be, what their favorite pieces were and why. And then that interactive paint wall will be there as well. So really anybody can pull up, you can paint. We will also have an artist who is Tyrone. What's Tyrone's last name?
Randall.
Tyrone Randall. I can't believe I forgot that. Tyrone Randall will be doing a lead piece as well. So he's not competing. He's not doing interactive. He is just being hired as a lead artist to create a beautiful piece. And so that will be happening as well. And we'll have True School alumni and youth there, and they will be offering face painting and henna. And we have a few different reasons for people to come, yes, observe the competition, but also stay a while and engage with the art as well.
I love that. So hands-on.
Right. Hey, can I jump in real quick? Because what I love about True School is they never do anything that's one and done. Whatever they do, it always builds up on something else. And I know this is just one of the things that's kind of kicking off the summer things. I want you to talk about some of the things you do with like the summer internships. I want you to talk about what's going on August 8th and 9th, because that's one I'm really looking forward to when we talk about the strictly business. I want you to talk about that play on the names and everything that the people can expect from you.
Yeah, so True School is, first of all, your listeners, your audience can check us out, TRUESKOOL.org, trueschool.org, and True School 414 on all the social media. So I just want to say that so y'all can catch up with us and connect. TRUESKOOL 414 on all your social medias. And we are year-round youth serving and after school and during our summer sessions. Juneteenth is sort of our kickoff for the summer season in Milwaukee in general, but also for us as True School is the beginning of what we have established as our CEO session for the summer. The CEO sessions is a paid internship for our participants. So during the school session, they come in the fall and in the spring after school for the free after school sessions, and their commitment is the fee, their attendance, their commitment to the projects, their commitment to the team. And then in the summertime, they earn that opportunity for a paid gig. And so essentially we have young people that will be helping us facilitate the Arts and Culture Zone. They help us in coordinating all of the activities that you'll see on the ground in the True School Arts and Culture area. And then we start our creative entrepreneurial opportunity sessions where these young people will be building their own professional portfolios. They'll be creating their own mock business plans. They'll be developing some of them actual startup concepts. And so we go through a really strong regiment with some amazing partners during the summertime. And that leads up to what Dr. Kweku spoke of, which is the CEO sessions on Friday, August 8th. This is the kickoff to our Summer Park Jam weekend. And Summer Park Jam is a whole nother monster within itself. We're going to come back and bring all the extras for that, as they develop. But it's going to be big this summer. August 8th is the kickoff for the Strictly Business CEO sessions. And that's for creative entrepreneurs. It's a multimedia professional coach up. It's a level up for all of the artists in Milwaukee, producers in Milwaukee, media makers, content creators, to come and sit and chop it up with some industry veterans, some hip hop legends who will be in the city that weekend. There's none other than EPMD, Eric and Paris making dollars.
Unfinished business, strictly business as usual. Get that done.
And if you're a hip hop head, you already know how legendary that's going to be. EPMD is icons in music, your favorite rapper. But the the honor that we have to be able to bring them in on this executive level experience where we want DJs, broadcasters, other folks who are in the industry to come learn about the longevity model, learn about how you can sustain your career as long as these brothers have learned the background of the publishing, the ins and outs of copyright. EPMD is one of the most sampled hip hop duos in history. When you listen to their classics, you can hear all the samples of the people that have made hits off of their records. And the stories that they're going to share and the history and the experience that they're going to share with the community is going to be incredible. RSVP for the CEO session opens on Friday. So the day after Juneteenth, you can go on to trueschool.org and get your RSVP seat so you don't miss out on the CEO sessions, which is the kickoff to the Summer Park Jam August 8th at the Market Center.
Wow, I love it. And I know that you two don't do this alone. You support one another. I can already feel the vibe right there, right? But who else? What are some of your other partners? And do you need any other partners? Maybe put that out on.
Well, don't get us to start naming names.
I'm just saying.
We have a Army and a Navy behind us, but
Come on.
That's a great point. The team is big and forever growing. And to Dr. Kweku's point, our alumni, True School has, really carved out an amazing community of support that supports not only artists, but as we were saying, creative entrepreneurs from every aspect. And so we're looking at it from the lens of how can we grow that ecosystem in Milwaukee?
Yes.
How can we pour into those gifts in Milwaukee? We're always building collaborations. None of this will be possible without our partners and sponsors at Northcott Neighborhood House and Beta Philanthropies, for example, who are proud supporters of our arts and culture zone. And for the last 4 years, have helped us to build it and grow it. And every year we adding on and making it greater. And if you've been paying attention to Juneteenth for the last 5 years, every year is getting bigger, is greater, is growing, is adding on something special for the young people, for our elders. And so, yes, we need to support trueschool.org. If you would like to collaborate with us, True School 414 on the social medias, reach out to us. We are heavy on building bridges that serve our community, youth and families, and especially the artists and the truth tellers in our city.
And just to add on to that, it's the young people in real time. They don't have to wait to be alumni to exude leadership and help us in decision making. And then, of course, our alumni, and then our teaching artists, and then our partners. And like Fido said, it would be a long list to go through specific names, but it really is about building community, because if we build that the right way, then our young people have a community that they are growing into, and they have something to do with those leadership skills that they are developing. And so it's actually, through the lens of hip hop, we have no limitations. And so if we are partnering with other people that are doing great things in our city, and we're engaging our young people and not talking to them like kids, but talking to them and honoring the fact that they have a lens of expertise to add to the conversation. By the time they get grown, they're hitting the ground running with the support of us, with the support of the extended network, and then, of course, the support of the community that they built with each other. And I think that's the most important piece. Our events, like the Arts and Culture Zone that we're bringing to Juneteenth, the Summer Park Jam weekend, this is us bringing the culture for free to the community. And that's the most important part. We worked hard to make sure that we're creating opportunities that people know when they're happening and how to engage in them for free, because this is a culture that heals, as you were talking about healing. And this is really what we're trying to do, but in a way where people get to add to that. What does that mean? What does that look like? How do you personalize that experience? So it's really just an honor. We serve youth for sure. But we are about the family, and we are about the community.
I love that. Let's not leave the family out, because that's the foundation to it. Isn't that right? Oh, I absolutely. Were you going to say something about that?
No.
That was just like, you just smiled so hard. I didn't know. But so anyway, he just co-signed. She talking the truth.
Hey, TT or Alicia, I'm sorry, I'm getting all too comfortable. What I want to make sure is that both of them understand how much they are beloved by the community. And as a person who sometimes pours out a little too much out their cup, I want to make sure that they're doing everything for themselves, because they are so important, that while you're doing all of these things to help everybody else, I hope you're pouring into yourselves. And I just want you to give the people a snippet of what you do for yourselves, because we always see these people who are working so hard, and because you work throughout the year and then you still do stuff through the summer, give them just a little bit of what you do to make sure that you can stay on full to be able to help everyone else.
Yeah. How you fill your cup?
I got these two amazing superhumans behind me in the background over here. They might be in the shot, but you know, my seeds fill me up. And so spending time, you know, deliberately being filled up by their curiosity, by their imagination, by their questions and futuristic minds, it energized me every day. And so I appreciate the acknowledgement, family. I appreciate that. I appreciate the love, and it's mutual, and ditto right back to you as well. And I think that gratitude is a big piece for me. And you know, learn how to slow down and rest is, you know,
respect.
I'm still struggling with that, but, you know,
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
Well, I like to ask people, what is your medicine? And your medicine is a thing that comes very naturally to you, that you don't have to fight. That could be sometimes for people that's cooking, that's could be fixing a car, but it's just that thing that's innately inside of you. And I feel like that is kind of the foundation for your purpose on this earth. And we all have different roles to play, and collectively those roles keep us all whole. So I'm living in my medicine. I feel like when people fight their medicine, you experience trauma in your life, and you're always fighting for something that's not coming natural to you. So I stay true to my medicine. I listen to my heart. I listen to my mind, and I feel like I'm living my calling. And you know, that's fulfilling within itself. And of course, the youthful energy. I'm a mother as well, and I'm selective about where my energy goes. That's real. I have to protect me because too many people depend on me to show up in a particular way. So
I
it's
mean,
layers to it, but we taking care of ourselves.
Man, well, I appreciate you sharing that, because again, the way you take care of the community, you got to make sure you take care of yourself. Airline, put your mask on first. And so thank you for sharing how you put your mask on so that you continue doing this great work. I'm so happy to have Selena Fidel from True Schools on. We got to look forward to the arts and culture, look forward to the summer park jam. Hey, trueschools.org. I want you to go on and check it out. You are listening to Nyumba Upendo. We are excited about what's going on today. Don't turn your dials. Stay on. We'll be back right after this break.
106.5 FM. WNOV, The Voice.
Hey. 1 2 1 2.
Here we go. It's my time to rise. It's my time to shine. It's my time to live. It's my time to fly. It's my time. It's my time.
Hello, welcome back to Nyumba Upendo. We are so happy to have you. You're listening to 860 AM, 106.5 FM. And if you had tuned in before the break, you know we had some amazing people in our studio. Selena, Fidel from True School. They talked a lot about a couple of things that they're doing. One is the arts and culture at Juneteenth tomorrow, and then the summer park jam that's going to be happening soon. If you want to know more about both of those two and what they do, please feel free to go to True School. That's TRUE School, SKOOL.org. And then if you want to also follow them on social media, which I do, True Schools 414 on all of the social media areas. So, Dr. Kweku, what did you think about those guests?
Hey, they're absolutely awesome. Like I said, whenever you entrust your children to somebody's tutelage and care, you already know that's the highest praise that you can give. And the things that they do is just so beautiful. We always say, what is there to do in Milwaukee specifically for the children to be able to keep them positive, actively engaged in something that really fits them? That's one of the answers right there. And also, I want to make sure, remember, Brother Walter Cullen Jr. was on the show last year. And he was like, hey, we're doing something on June 21st with the Tot Lot basketball workshop over at Mesmer. And I know Brother Debo has been putting up the screenshot for that. But Walter said, hey, you know what I want to do? He said, I want to give away some tickets for the people who want to do. So we got 6 tickets that we're going to give away. We're not going to do it on the show, but we're going to do it on social media, find ways to do it. But what I love about this is these are the things that we talk about proactively doing for our community. And if we can do these things proactively, we prevent some of the stuff already. But unfortunately, sometimes, Dr. Moutry, we have to talk about the things that we don't want to talk about. And sometimes you talk about, like, how do you do a transition where you talk about something so positive to some things that's maybe not as positive. But I think this is the perfect segue, because what we're talking about now is we have some true experts in the audience that say, hey, we're gonna do this bridge. And what's that bridge? To talk about when things do go wrong, but who are the people there to help? Right. When I worked at Children's Hospital, people ask me, like, how do you work with these children who are physically abused, sexually abused, emotionally abused every day and keep your sanity? I said, and it was sort of like Sister Aliyah said before, I said, you know what it is? I said, I get to be a light in this darkness for these young people. And I give them a chance to be able to have some hope for the world, that is somebody who really cares about them and that things can be better. And so when I think about our 2 guests up in there, I see these 2 beautiful Black goddesses up in here. I say, and I say that from inner beauty and outer beauty with that. But what they do specifically in the area of forensic psychology and criminalistic psychology, as far as how do we help people to one, be prepared to not to deal with these people who do things so we can keep certain people away from us, but also how do we deal with the aftermath? And I love Sister Aliyah says, she said, I get to live in my medicine. And when we talk about really today's show about women's empowerment from abuse, we talk about 2 women who say, hey, I see a need, I have a skill, I want to dig deep into this. So I don't know. Do you want me to introduce them? You want to introduce them, Dr.
Actually, I'm gonna go rogue on you, and I'm gonna allow themselves, if you don't mind. So we do have 2 beautiful goddesses in the house. I'm gonna start with Dr. Latoya K. If you would, I'm gonna do it for you as well, Dr. Harrison. Just tell your I already kind of said your name, but your name. I'd like you to tell, like, what's your profession, what's actually your title, and then we've been doing this lately. What high school did you go to?
Okay.
What about that?
Okay, so I'm Dr. Latoya K, and I am a forensic and neuropsychologist. So 75% of my time, I am working on different criminal cases, and I am assessing a person's risk to reoffend. And that helps the court to decide sentencing for that person, whether that person needs to go to prison, whether they don't need, they can go on probation and parole. They can do an evidence-based treatment program that will help to reduce their risk to reoffend. So that's what I do 75% of the times. I am usually in a prison, a jail, or in court testifying.
Prison, jail, or court. Wow.
Yes.
Okay, and then what I just want to know, what high school would you go
Yes.
to?
And
The community
so
sometimes want to know that.
at some point I was going to talk about this a little bit more, but I am not originally from Milwaukee.
That's okay.
I am originally from DC, and
Mm.
I went to Eastern Senior High School.
Eastern.
Eastern,
Got
yes.
it. Okay.
The
we get
DMV.
Yes,
Yep.
there we go. All right, thank you for sharing, Dr. Harrison.
Yeah, so I'm Dr. Harrison, and I am a licensed clinical forensic psychologist.
Okay.
Some of my experiences overlap with Dr. Latoya K as well, doing a little bit inside the institutions as well as community corrections. I've pivoted a little bit more recently, and I'm focusing on private practice, providing supervision for other up and coming mental health clinicians, and just trying to figure out ways that we can serve the community a little bit more from the outside versus just always on the inside.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. So, are you from Milwaukee or are you somewhere else?
Ooh, you got another expat here. So
I love
I am actually from St. Louis.
You from St.
I-
Louis?
Woo!
I love
from
that.
the Lou. Yes.
Okay, all
So
right.
I went to Cardinal Ritter, which is a college prep in St. Louis, very much north side St. Louis. And I've been in Milwaukee for a little over a decade.
Well, Milwaukee is very lucky to have both of you ladies here and supporting our community. And so I know that there's this Women's Empowerment for Abuse Trauma group. My question for you to start off, what inspired you to start the group? And that's whomever wants to answer that.
Okay, so I'll start. I am a product of this group. So the
Okay.
Women's Empowerment from Abuse group is a 24-week trauma group. It's an evidence-based trauma group, meaning that it's been researched first nationally and then globally and found to be effective at reducing symptoms of trauma and that's changing the way people interact with others and in the world, changing how they interact at work, changing how they interact at school, changing how they interact with their children, changing how they date, changing who they choose to have in their lives as a romantic partner, and making better decisions about choosing friendships. So I'm a product of this group. Dr. Latoya K became Dr. Latoya K because when she was a teenager, she was mandated to do this group. So I got in some trouble. And I was mandated to do this group. Back then, it was just getting started because we're talking about 20 plus years ago. And in 2 decades, it's become a world-renowned trauma group.
Dr. Latoya K, let me ask you a question, because oftentimes, specifically within the field of psychology, whenever I hear empirically based, evidence based, I shudder just a little bit, because usually that means it's been normed upon white people. And when you bring it over to our community, it has some kind of staples that can transfer and generalize, but it don't have all of the real fixings with it. So when you did this group, did you have to put an extra seasoning on it, or was the group already ready to be able to be generalized to all populations?
No, this group was actually created based on the various stressors that was happening within the community that I was living in at the time. So this group consisted solely of Black teens at the time. Black teens that were coming out of lower SES neighborhoods, that were the victims of urbanization. And so this group was created for us, by us.
Come on.
And the model is called the Trauma Recovery and Empowerment Model.
Okay.
Yes.
So you talked about DC, you talked about St. Louis. Is this group happening those areas, or can I actually be a part of it here in the city?
So the group is happening nationwide, including within the state of Wisconsin Department of Corrections. It's a fairly popular trauma group at this point, and it's happening all over the country. It's happening in major cities. It's happening within the correctional system, and Jasmine and I are now bringing it to the community.
I
So
love
you
that.
you do not need to get in trouble anymore
To be able to, no, I
get
love that.
this. Yes, to receive this help. We're now bringing it to the community, and we're offering it to anyone within the Milwaukee area, any adult woman that's 18 and up that wants to come, and they're saying to themselves, I need to change. I need some things to change. I would like my trauma symptoms to change. I want this sadness to reduce. I want the nightmares to reduce. I want this anxiety to reduce. I want this procrastination. I want this low self-esteem gone.
Come on out.
Come on out.
So can you go ahead and let's go ahead and tell the community when, where, what, give us all the W's of this group that you're bringing here to Milwaukee, which we're appreciative of.
All right, so this particular group is going to be held on Tuesdays from 7:15 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. It will be in person and it will be a very intimate group. We're really hoping to keep it close knit. So we're hoping for about 8 women that are ready to commit to working through their trauma. The group is, even though it's week to week, it is a 24-week commitment. Because, you didn't get these traumas overnight. Right. So we might take a little bit more than just a session or two to actually get into a space where you can work through some of the symptoms you've been experiencing.
I love that. So you kind of talked a little bit about how the groups are there. Before you had to kind of get in trouble and then you were sort of mandated to go. Yeah. How, if I'm in the listening audience and I'm like trying to debate, is this group for me? Or is it? What would you tell me? What would you make me think about to determine whether or not this group is something that I would benefit from?
You know what? I think a lot about our shared experiences and working in corrections, and what drew me to corrections in the first place is I wanted to serve my people. And I hated that I had to go behind bars to do it. I remember the 53206 documentary and the statistics about how many of those people were incarcerated in Wisconsin DOC. So I went to Wisconsin DOC and then I went to the federal prison and then I went to community corrections and I did all of this, and the trauma is there. And I like the idea of being able to help someone work through their trauma before they're incarcerated. I got it while they're there. Right. And when you see a lot of these things that people are experiencing, we focus on the criminal act, but you realize it's a void of having that support prior to the behavior. So what if we interjected before that happened? What if we interjected before the crash out? What if we taught you skills so that you can actually regulate those emotions and it's not always reactive? So if that's something that you're listening, you're trying to figure it out, what if we can help support you before there's a consequence?
Yeah.
I have I'm sorry, Dr. Moutry. Can I ask a question? Because when you say that, I'm always curious when we do like these kind of groups like this, what happens when you get a person who's maybe like in that primary or prevention stage versus some other people who may be in the tertiary level, where you say, how do I get this beautiful blend of people who've already been through it, maybe made some mistakes, had some feelings, had some hurt, versus those who are like just trying to do the proactive thing and to be able to blend them in together where it works beautifully for everybody who's involved in the group?
It's up to you. Go ahead. All right. So we talk about what stage of change people are in. This group was developed out of chaos and distress. And it no one who went into this group initially was in the stage of change where they was ready to be like, hey, I'm ready to change. We all were pushed into this. I don't want to say we didn't have a choice, but my choice was going to jail or joining this group, and I chose this group. I think one of the good things about the group is it does not matter where you are in terms of your stage of change. Chances are you've already made a lot of poor decisions because trauma typically causes us to make bad decisions, whether those bad decisions are about love or whether those bad decisions are about how we raise our children. We've already started making bad decisions. So if you've decided that you're ready to go ahead and change that, that's good enough. I'll take you at the pre-contemplation stage where you're kind of like, I got one foot in, I got one foot out. I'm not entirely sure, but yes, there's some improvement that I can do with myself. I'll take. bring the actual list of topics,
Okay.
but each lady will receive a list of topics so that they're prepared beforehand from week to week, so that they have a week to prepare themselves mentally for this is the upcoming topic. But some of the things that we go over includes sexual abuse as a topic, financial abuse as a topic, emotional abuse as a topic. So the stuff that you would expect the group to have, but we go a bit more in depth about it. And the discussions is more closer to what you're going to experience if you're a Black person in an urban community. So, for example, a big thing in our community is ribbing and jonesing. And I don't know if that's what Milwaukeeans called it up, but that's what those of us in DC called it, jonesing on each other.
Ribbon, I
Well,
heard that too before.
jonesing is a form of emotional abuse, but most people don't know that. Because what happens when someone is talking about somebody's mama, talking about somebody's mama being addicted to crack? Is it funny to the person on the other end of that?
That's really happening.
Right. It's not funny. And so they're being emotionally traumatized. And sometimes they don't know that they're being emotionally traumatized. So one of the things that we do with the topics in these groups is we bring out the stuff that most people aren't thinking about when they think about abuse. When you say emotional abuse, the first thing people think is, oh, they called me a name. Well, it can be jonesing, it can be pranking you. It doesn't have to just be calling you out your name.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. Okay. Wow. I never thought, but you want to add to it? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just, and one of the things that I'm particularly excited about with going into this material is, especially with women, there's going to be a segment just focused on just the interpersonal relationships and the trauma that comes out of the ones that you've either had or have not had in a healthy way. So hopefully we're able to explore some of the consequences and some of those behaviors and what we may do to seek that relationship and go about it maybe not in the best way. And then we've actually been talking about potentially after this class graduates, expanding on that more and doing a separate group to dive even more into how do we navigate those interpersonal components of those relationships. Everyone wants to know, well, is this valid? Is he being honest? Is this gonna work out? And like, how do you take, this is my experience, here's some language to it, this is how I navigate that space. And so we're hoping to touch on that in this group, and then potentially, if that goes really well, expand on it.
Well, when we
later.
come back after the break, here we go. That was a perfect segment. I want to get into Dr. Latoya, Dr. Harrison. You're here talking about women's empowerment from abuse trauma groups. And when we come back from the break, I want to dig into a little bit more. And we just thank you for being here on Nyumba Upendo, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break.
Upendo. I'm your host, Dr.Alisia Moutry, and we also have our host, Dr. Kweku, over there.
Hey, I'm back.
Yeah, we're back. I love it. And in the studio, we have again the lovely Dr. Latoya and Dr. Harrison, and they're here talking about the women's empowerment for abuse trauma groups. And so during the break, I was just saying again with our listening audience, if I don't know if this is for me or not, what are some symptoms that I could pay attention to? Say maybe I want to pay attention to this group and maybe be involved. What are some things that I should maybe will let me know that this may be for me?
I think a lot of the times we spent a lot of time talking about the consequences of the behavior and some of the more obvious things that may happen from trauma, but there are a group of people that don't know that their experiences are in fact traumatic. So this group is for those that maybe you think it is okay, but you're not in a position to recognize that your inability to sleep is part of probably something that you're struggling with, or maybe some of your other behaviors. Maybe you are having a hard time focusing. Maybe you feel like your memory has been impacted. Maybe you are not feeling as motivated day to day. Maybe you are only living for the weekend. Maybe you've adapted so many things to try to create some moment of joy, but you can't quite figure out what that is. You find yourself in these same patterns of behavior, these same patterns of entertainment, and not really feeling as fulfilled.
Yeah. So one of the things that I was talking about during the break is the number of Black people who can't go sit in a restaurant and sit with their back to a door. That's a trauma response. That's a fear response. The number of Black women who walk around complaining about imposter syndrome after they've done tons and tons of schooling. That's a trauma response. The number of people who will walk down the street and they become uncomfortable if someone is walking behind them, or the number of people who I don't want to go to Summerfest because there's a crowd there and I absolutely can't stand crowds. Those are trauma responses. And so if you find yourself in a position where you feel uncomfortable and it's an ordinary day-to-day task, but you feel some sort of discomfort in your body, that's your anxiety. That is your trauma kicking up. That is where anxiety comes from. So anxiety comes from this idea that your brain is supposed to send an alarm when you're in danger, but you yourself is in a situation where you are not in danger, and yet your anxiety is ringing. That's a trauma response.
Absolutely.
And we're just so used to it, right?
Yeah.
Like you've normalized it day to day where it becomes a habit. So you may not realize that that's what you're responding to because you've just been doing it for years and years, and you watched your mother do it for years and years, and your grandmother do it for years and years. So you're just doing the things that you're used to seeing.
Right. Well, and also you mentioned those things. I'm going to add that physical component as well. Sometimes I'm changing in my body size, my body weight, my hair is falling out. I'm having these breakouts. I have no idea what's going on. A lot of times stress will impact us in many different ways. Ladies, I know we have this Women's Empowerment for Abuse Trauma Group. It's starting on July 8th. It's going to happen on Tuesdays from 7:15 to 8:30. The location is 9235 West Capitol Drive, Suite 402, here in Milwaukee. The sessions are $35. The sessions are 24 sessions for 24 sessions. Somebody may say, why 24? I can't do 24. Any thoughts about that part?
Well, as I mentioned before, your trauma did not happen overnight. It did not happen in a vacuum. So for an hour and 15 minutes, week to week, we can kind of get into exposing, creating that safe space, developing that sisterhood, and also allowing you to step into some of those things at a reasonable pace. Everything does not have to happen in a microwave. Everything does not have to be in a 2-minute reel. Sometimes it takes a little time to get into it.
I love it.
And Dr. Moutry, and sometimes sessions can be anywhere from $250 to $300 an hour. So when we start talking about 35, that's like a crazy discount for crazy experts. So we don't want to be foolish about what we want to invest in. We spend $35 to go see Dochi talk about anxiety, where you got 2 PhD PsyDs right there ready to go. And I know we got to go because shopping is coming up.
I was about to say that. So if you want to get in touch with Dr. Latoya Williams, 262-343-1139. Dr. J. Harrison, inquiry at harrisonpsych.com. I'm going to end the words with the quote that you have on your flyer by Maya Angelou. I can be changed by what happens to me. I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. You're listening to Nyumba Upendo. We love you, Milwaukee. Thank you, and we'll see you next Wednesday.